Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Bob Morse, and I am here to talk to you about this new initiative that I've got. And I'm excited about it because it's just going to be a tremendous step in the right direction for me. And I hope that maybe you might join me and it would be a step in the right direction for you also. So, with that, I want to ask you this question. How would your life change if you were to commit yourself to becoming the best version of yourself and being the best version of yourself for the next 90 days, right? So we're getting ready to go into the fourth quarter of 2018. Today's the 24th of September, and next week it begins the first day of the fourth quarter in 2018. And why I'm doing this is I am committing myself to make this an epic close to what's been a really amazing year for me so far. Okay, so what would your life look like at the end of December if you committed yourself to being the best version of yourself, right? I think, and why I'm doing this is I think it's going to be awesome. And so if you're inclined to maybe see what that looks like for you, then you can join me, and I invite you to. And I think it would be awesome. So I'm calling this little series 90 Days to Awesomeness, right? And that's where I'm going, and I'm looking for like-minded people to go with me. If that's you, let me know. We'll set it up, right? And so, again, what would it look like for you? Would your health improve? Would your relationships improve? Would your financial situation, your career, your professional work, how would you feel at the end of 90 days? What will your emotions be like? What would your state of being in terms of just how fulfilled you are with life and where you think you're going, your sense of direction, your purpose? What would that look like if for 90 days you committed to being the best version of yourself instead of just your average self? Right? And so it's a matter of monitoring your thoughts and monitoring your words and your actions and being a little bit more discerning about your actions and your choices. And so my buddy Chris described it this way, is that there's basically two versions of ourselves living up here in between our ears. One is the average mediocre self, and that's the one that lives with insecurities, where all the doubt and the fear and the ignorance shows up, and that one convinces you to not even try, not even attempt to make yourself and put yourself in a better place, right? That's the mediocre self. That's the average self. That's one version of yourself that lives between your ears. The other version of yourself is the greatest self, right? The greatest version of you that lives in between your ears. And that's the one that shows up when you have confidence and when you have a sense of direction and purpose in your life, and you are a leader and you show up with a way that exudes everything that's going right, right? And so these two versions of yourself live with you every day. Which one have you been listening to? I know for me, it's the former. I've been listening predominantly my entire life to the average self, the mediocre self, the one that says, don't put yourself out. Don't try to set yourself apart. Don't try to make yourself in a better position than you are right now, because it's hard work and it's tiresome and you're probably not going to do it anyway, right? That's the one I've been listening to, and I'm done with that. I'm committed to listening to the greatest version of myself, the one that encourages me to step out and become more than I am, so that at the end of this 90-day thing, I can look back and say, you know what, that's the way I used to be, but look at me now, right? Wouldn't you like to have a similar experience at the end of December? I mean, think about it. Why would you ever choose to look 90 days ahead and say, you know what, it'd be okay if I just ended up right where I am right now, right? If 90 days from now things were just exactly the way they are, that'd be okay. Why would you ever do that when things could be so much better, right? Okay, so there's this movie where it depicts this guy having an internal dialogue, and on one shoulder he's got sitting a guy with red skin, two horns, a spaded tail, holding a pitchfork, right? You know the guy. And then on the other shoulder he's got a guy dressed in white with wings on, and he's much more level-headed and a lot less maybe fun and exciting, but he's the one that everyone knows that you really ought to listen to. And these two guys sitting on your shoulders are constantly whispering in your ears, and you're always having this internal dialogue about, you know, let's say it's health related, and the guy on the right is saying, you know what, just don't go to the gym tonight. You've had a long day. Just kick back on the couch, watch your favorite TV show, and tomorrow you'll get up and you'll start another day, right? And the guy on the left is saying, no, listen, I know you had a hard day, but you know this is good for you. So go do it. Be that best version of yourself. And so it all boils down to which one are you going to listen to? And that's going to determine whether or not you're becoming or being the best version of yourself, right? Which one you listen to. My buddy Chris put it this way, is that the quality of your life is determined by the decisions you make and which one of these two guys you end up listening to, right? Which one is running the show, right? Look at the results of your life and you'll see what the difference is, right? So back to our original question, what would your life look like? How would your life change if you listened to the greatest version of yourself for 90 days instead of the average mediocre version of yourself, right? If that's the one that's your counselor for 90 days, what's your life going to look like? It's going to be so much better than it is right now. Isn't that a measure worth pursuing, right? And so what does this look like? How do you pursue and listen to the best version of yourself? Well, it might seem like an insurmountable thing that you have to live in a realm of perfection, and that's far from the case, right? It's not about perfection. It's about the direction that you're moving in, and which one of these versions of yourself are you listening to? It's about discerning the choices that you make, right? And making the choice that's really with integrity to you and integrity to the people that are important to you, your family, your spouse, your kids, your siblings, your parents. That's about what this is. This whole thing is circled around, is listening to the right one, the right version of yourself instead of the wrong one, the one that's going to lift you up and encourage you and walk with you toward awesomeness instead of the one that's going to hold you back and have you stay in a position that is mediocre and average, right? Don't do that. Don't be average anymore. Commit yourself to being great, right? The direction that you move is more important than the speed or the distance you travel. And so the fact that you might go to the gym and kind of not have as good a workout as you could have, that's not as important as the fact that you actually showed up at the gym, right? So do that. Do that. Listen to the guy that says, go to the gym, and then you'll figure it out. See, most people are stuck in this pattern of mediocrity, and that's where I find myself in most of my life, is just circling around mediocrity and average and never making any advances. And I'm committed to changing that. And it's an area that I think for most people that mediocrity has become the status quo. And that's what I'm no longer willing to accept for me. All right. And I want to encourage you to join me. All right. So there's two areas of my life that I'm committed to changing. And one is my new practice where I am a mentor, a consultant, a coach, an advocate for other people. And I'm looking for 3 clients. Okay, that's as many as I'm going to take on right now. 3 clients who really want to step their game up and move in the direction that's important to them, right? The other area is my health. A few years ago, I started gaining weight and I ballooned up to about 240 pounds. I was right on the verge of being clinically obese, and it really snuck up on me. I didn't realize it until at one point I looked at a photograph, right? It doesn't show up in the mirror. So I looked at a photograph and I was like, ooh, dude, you need to kind of take care of some things. And so I did. I committed to losing some weight, and I did drop some weight, but I'm still at a point where I've kind of plateaued and I'm not satisfied with that. And so I want to drop an additional 25 pounds. Right now I'm hovering around 215, 220, and I'm committed by the end of this year, by December 31st, 2018, I'm going to be less than 200. But more than that, I want to be 195. I'm going to weigh 195 pounds at the end of this year. And that's what I'm committed to. And so for me, it's about a position of financial independence with my business and a sense of vitality with my health. Okay, so those are the 2 areas that I'm focusing on over the next 30 days. And this whole endeavor is about creating the right habit around discerning my choices in regards to those 2 things. What am I going to do? Am I going to eat right? Am I going to exercise? Am I going to commit myself to those things because that's the greatest version of myself that's stepping up when I do that? Am I going to do the things in my business that are going to bring in the right type of clients so that I can make an impact with them and they can make an impact with the people in their lives? Am I going to do that? Am I going to step up to it? Or am I going to settle back into the old habits of mediocrity and average and listen to the wrong advice, the wrong version of myself, the one that's going to hold me back, the one that's not going to let me advance? Or am I going to listen to the one that is going to encourage me. He's going to build me up. He's going to step with me through the struggles and the falls and the failures, and realize that it's just part of the process, right? Which one are you going to listen to? My buddy Chris, he says that I want my life to be a demonstration of what's possible when average steps up to be great, right? And that's what I'm about. I want to step up to greatness. I'm going to document this daily. So this is day 1 of 90 in terms of what is going on in this 90 days to awesomeness. And I'm going to step up my game so that I can listen to the right version of myself, the greatest version of myself, and achieve something in the next 90 days that is going to be well worth looking back on and kind of feel good about. And I invite you to join me, right? If you want to do this, if you think this is anyhow possible, then let me know. Like I said, we're going to set that up. And so put your game face on, because game on. Here we go. Have a great day.